Hey there, it's been a while, just trying to sort this out. There we go, that'll probably do. Yeah, it's been a while. So I'll be making some more videos real soon actually, because I've been real slack. I've been travelling recently and I haven't made any movies, which isn't really good enough. Anyway, I just wanted to make this quick movie because I was reading a book. I wouldn't read books all the time, but shit, pay attention. I was reading a book called Think and Grow Rich. Recently, I read it, quite often, and this lady, friend of the family, said, she's like, "Oh, you don't believe in that kind of stuff, do you?" And I was like, well, yeah, I do actually, yeah, I was like, well, I do, like, I'm not, real like, airy-fairy, but I was like, and I was thinking, I was like, oh, why do I? And I was like, well, I remember the first time I read this book was when I was actually in the military, and I was 18, I was 18 at the time that I read it, and I remember just thinking at the time, like, what is this shit, like, just tell me what it is, like, what do I have to do to be rich, this is bullshit, this book sucks. And yeah, so I didn't really get anything out of the book at all, and I didn't take any of the action steps that it talks about in the book, and yeah, so it was kind of a waste of time really. And anyway, fast forward almost a decade, and I was like thinking to tell this lady, I was like, oh, what the hell do I say, because I'm not like really super rich or anything at the moment, right? So I can't be like, oh, this is how I made my millions because of this book. And so I was like, oh, what can I say? And I was like, oh, at the time when I read the book, I was fairly young, and I was earning about $30,000 a year, New Zealand dollars, so in US dollars, if you're from there, it's like at the time it was like pretty much half, so yeah. So at the time I was earning $30,000 a year, and anyway, so I left that job and I went to another job, and my income was about $50,000, but it was in a different country. I moved to Australia, so my, I more than doubled my income basically from this one move, and my work was much easier too. And so yeah, I was like, oh yeah, it's cool. Anyway, so my missus ended up moving over, we ended up getting married, blah blah blah, and this opportunity came up for another higher paying job, and we were both really keen for it too. And so I was like, oh yeah, and I've been started reading books again, because I was like, well, all these rich people were telling me, hey, look, man, you've got to read these books if you want to, be rich. And I was like, oh fuck, like they're saying, and then I suppose it's true. So I started reading a lot again, and I read Think and Grow Rich a couple of times, and some other, heaps of other books. I've probably read over 100 or so now. But you've got to read them quite a lot of times to actually get anything out of them. So anyway, ended up getting this job, and I basically just got it because I applied for it. But I also I used a lot of visualization techniques. Like I would see myself working that specific job, and see myself in the uniform and doing the work, and then receiving the pay for it. So that kind of worked, and I was thinking about all this. This happened quite fast in my head, and I was like, I believe in this stuff. When this lady asked me if I believed in it, and I was like, yeah, of course I do. Like, it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. It's happening anyway, right? So it doesn't matter if you believe in the law of attraction or not. Like, either way, it's working. It's like, if you don't believe in the law of gravity and you jump off a building, it doesn't matter how strong your belief is. You're going to hit the ground pretty fast. And so yeah, kind of had a little spiel, and I was like, I effectively increased my income 10 times by applying the techniques learned from this book. So yeah, I definitely believe in it. Like, if I hadn't read this, and I hadn't read other stuff and learned and applied some of the things that I'd learned, then there's no way that I'd be earning what I'm earning like now, like right now. And so anyway, I'm kind of at these crossroads. I'm like, oh shit, you know, I earn a fair bit of money. Like my income varies quite dramatically depending on the job that we're doing at the time. So, for example, for example, yeah. So one of the jobs I was at, we were doing 13-hour shifts, night shift. So we're getting paid like a night shift bonus, and my yearly income from that job was about 260,000 Australian dollars. So you know, so in heaps of Kiwi dollars, over 300,000, and in the US it's at the moment it's roughly 1 for 1, you know. And that was good income, but it's 13 hours a day or a night. It's night shift, which kind of sucks. Mind you, it wasn't a very hot area, part of Australia, so so that was okay doing nights, I suppose. But the cons were, you know, long days or long nights. You don't get any days off. We did 28 days on straight, and then had 7 days off. And the biggest con, which is still my huge con, is that my wife is not there. So for the first few years I was doing fly in fly out work, which is basically, you know, you're hired for a job from a capital city. It doesn't really matter what part of the world it is, and they're like, okay, we're going to fly you to this place where the work actually is, like the actual work front, and then when you've done your roster, or you know the agreed amount of days that you're going to do, then you know, we'll fly you back home. And so let's get to the pizza. That really doesn't help. Yeah, so basically that's what I've been doing, and for ages, like 7 years now, I suppose. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the con. Yeah, so my wife. Yeah, so for the first, you know, 4 or 5 years that I was doing FIFO work, my wife worked for the same company, so it was really cruisy. You know, like we could be in a remote area, and there'd be, you know, like nowhere near a city or anything like that. And it was cool because my missus was there, you know, so that was all good. But now we work in separate areas, which sucks. So I'm just like, crap, you know, I really need to get back to my wife so I can see her, because at the moment I don't see her at all, you know, or very, very little. You know, which is just shit, you know. It's like the divorce rate for FIFO workers, like fly in fly out workers, is 90%. You know, 90. So you've got a 9 out of 10 chance doing FIFO to have a divorce at, you know, within a few years, which is just like, oh shit, you know. It's not good odds. So anyway, that's my con, and I'm like, shit, you know, this money's great, but money isn't everything, you know. And sure, it's good to have money. I like the things money buys, you know, like food, shelter, etc. You know, and but I love the things that money can't buy, you know, like yeah, relationships and feelings for one another, crap like that. So anyway, what am I getting at? Well, I'm kind of rambling a bit, but a little bit about me. But yeah, so the highest I've made doing what I'm doing at the moment on a 28 days on straight, 7 days off roster was 260 roughly. And the lowest doing this type, like the current work I do, which is rigging, currently what I'm earning right now, basically from my JOB is the lowest I've earned as a rigger, and that's about 150, roughly 150,000 Australian a year. And so while it's good, like it's, you know, way more than someone earns doing what I do in the city, it's, you know, it's not enough. Like I need more. And yeah, so what am I doing? Well, you know, I'm studying like I'm learning new skills. I'm learning network marketing. working in Power Network, you know, I had a wicked week. My first week in the Power Network, I made what I made over $4,000 US. You know, obvious income disclaimer. That was my results. I didn't have to work that hard for it, but not everyone gets results like that. And some people earn way more in their first weeks. One guy, Vic, he made over $1 million in his. Is it $1 million? I think it was over 700,000 in his first month. You know, so yeah. So anyway, I'm doing that. You know, and the idea is do all this stuff, learn new skills, basically, and just so I can move. You know, like work from home. Like I'm sick of doing FIFO. I've only been working away from my wife for a year now. I mean, I say only, but it's felt like an eternity, and I really don't like it. And yeah, so one of my main whys is, you know, to get back working with my wife, and not working with my wife, but you know, just near each other on a more regular basis, as in working from home, and she can just chill out, basically. But yeah, that's slowly becoming more of a reality. You know, I'm applying the techniques from Think and Grow Rich to speed that along, just like I did with my working career. So I think it's much easier for, like, say you learn some of the techniques that Napoleon Hill teaches in that book, and you're like, oh, okay, I think it's easier for someone, especially like me, or that, you know, have worked in the workforce for quite a while, like, you know, 10-ish years, and it's quite easy for you to do, like, you know, to focus on getting a better paying job for an employer, because you've done that kind of thing before, and jobs change and jobs are different, but at the end of the day they're all pretty much the same, right? And so yeah, I think it's a little bit harder to believe in yourself and your abilities when you're taking on something totally different like network marketing. And anyway, I've reached my destination, so yeah, I'll be busting out 2 videos a day. I might even do another one later tonight while I'm not driving. So yeah, this is my dog. Where is he? Can you see him? Lloyd, say hello. Sweet, alright, it says